Good afternoon. It's 1:37 p.m. It is February 11th. Happy Sunday to everyone. I hope you guys are having a nice, relaxing day. Here in Bakersfield, it's actually very beautiful outside right now. Not too hot, not too cold. You can actually get away with wearing like a t-shirt, short sleeves, or something like that. If you have to go outside short sleeves just for a short period of time because it really isn't that cold for a winter day. So, take advantage of the beautiful sunshine. I would do that anyway. And I hope you guys and making the best of your weekend because you guys have a lot to face in the next upcoming week. So be good to yourselves. So I've been doing a lot of thinking today. I think when you're dealing with someone who has dealt with like multiple betrayals, and just dealing with wanting to keep your privacy, wanting to keep, what do you call it, or wanting to make sure that you never have to deal with something like this again. I'm very leery of who comes into my sphere, even if it's something not necessarily physical, like meeting somebody face to face in real life. But I also deal with my online interactions as well, and sometimes that can become overwhelming for me, mainly because it's like I have not taken the time to pick apart every single person, and I'm thinking I always worry, because of the dual friendships that go on, whether it's dual partnerships or the dual connections. And there were some people who wished me harm. There's some people who literally wished me harm, who wanted to hurt me, who took advantage of my situation and my vulnerability. And that is a very painful thing for me to have to deal with. Mainly because it's the fact that a person is really literally running for their life, and somebody wants to take advantage of them in their very vulnerable situation, and to do it for monetary gain. Okay, I think it's really important that I make it really clear that, I'm not the kind of person who wants to ever have to be in a position to defend my beliefs, mainly because, like I said, I grew up in the United States, and although this country is not perfect by any means, okay, I would say, there's this, because the entire earth is hell, when it comes to the United States, there's a lot of good things about the United States compared to other countries, okay, and one of the reasons why freedom of religion is so important to people. It's because this is a part of their essence. It's a part of their being. Okay, how your spiritual life reflects who you are on the outside, as well as how you see things and how you conduct yourself and how whatever. And it's a how can I say this? And all of that is makes up your soul, who you are. Anyway, I am the kind of person who will stand my ground, especially when I know that I have a right to do something. And I don't want to argue about this issue anymore. I just literally do want to move on. But I know that the way that I'm going to be moving on is very sad because, unfortunately, like I said in this video, my previous videos, when you're dealing with gang stalking, they take apart so much out of your life. They destroy every aspect of your life. Every single last, your past is destroyed, your present is destroyed, your future is always going to be questionable, okay? And you always know that whatever future that you originally planned is not going to be the way that you wanted it to turn out, okay? And I feel angry because people didn't even think that I had that. Or when I tried to express it, it was like somebody was trying to force me into something on a completely different direction, okay? And that really, really bothered me. I'm coming from a person who lives in the United States. That's not something I expected. I understand there's discrimination, okay, but to that extent, it was just absolutely, crazy. I know that, I get this feeling that, and when anytime you're dealing with somebody that, you've had some sort of conflict with, okay. In this case, I know everybody who watches me knows that I was kind of taken aback by all of this because all of this, I moved to Bakersfield, like I said, in like 2001 or 2001, somewhere around there, and settled into this community, and I was going to have a little humble life and all this other stuff. This situation literally came upon me. Like I didn't do anything to elicit it or anything. And I what it's basically just a form of targeting. Like, obviously I've dealt with this group of people that followed me around in my school years, and they, because of, I think it's the experiment, they just followed me here to Bakersfield, and this is where my life literally became a struggle. Like just like it was hard when I was younger, but when you have to support another person and you're trying really hard to come to work every day, and it's just a situation that's completely set against you. And I remember like when I would go to certain jobs, my boss, Karen, she was always mumbling this under her breath. She's like, it's not like we're trying to set you up to fail or anything, because that's the joke. That's what they're doing there. They're there to set you up to fail. Okay, it becomes a game to where it's a point of like dehumanization, where they don't care, or think of you as a human being. Like you fucking don't matter to them, and they don't have a problem telling you that. So I have no problem speaking my mind, and because I do speak very directly, and when you're dealing with an issue, relating to people who had some sort of disagreement with you. Okay, you're in an argument. They're still heated to a certain degree, mainly because when you bring up issues that you need to release, and I have every right to release them, I have no one to release my issues to, unless of course I have to brace myself for a shitload of gaslighting. Okay, if I try to tell somebody something, like for example, I was explaining something to someone before, and I have to kind of skip around certain things because I don't want to say too much or whatever, and it's a controversial issue anyway. It's a situation where you can just constantly deal with a bunch of gaslighting and people who know that you're suffering, because the reason why I'm suffering is because I never got any proper closure for this. Okay, and so they want to make sure that they look at it. See, it's always dump on her, dump on her, dump on her. She's tried to get off of unemployment. She was very, stressed out. She tried to figure out, regroup herself and get something started. She does that, and then, they decided that they wanted to kind of man my Patreon shit, start looking through it and stuff like that, analyzing it, whatever they did, and then, because I'm sitting here making complaints about me trying to start over again, then they get upset at me, and it's a vicious cycle of me having to stand up for myself all the time, like all the time, and rightfully so, right? But because they don't see you as a human being, there's dehumanization there. You become the enemy, so it's like a constant cycle of whatever. But the things that happen to me, sometimes I just have to talk about it because I'm processing a lot. And like I said, I don't have a therapist I can go to. I don't have any friends. Okay, and I said I have people that send me text messages, and like I said, I don't know exactly what they're doing. Okay, because I'm going to tell you right now, I am so done with people trying to communicate through me, perps or people that I don't like trying to communicate to me through other people. Okay, so I have to be very careful about that. I do think that some people come off, like people think that I'm coming off as arrogant sometimes. I am not arrogant, okay, but I do believe that people should set standards, okay, and when you set standards for yourself, you have every right to put your head up a little higher, okay. This is not saying, oh, I'm comparing myself to certain people, but there's certain people you do not want to associate with. Why? Because it's going to sit here and affect your quality of life. You want to be around people who are going to be on the same par as you, people who support you, people you know who want to see you thrive and do your vision or whatever that is. Okay, when you're dealing with people who are kind of like lukewarm towards you or whatever, I don't need those kind of friends. I really don't need those kind of friends. So I need that, you know what I mean? And so because I don't have any social structure, and the way this system is designed, because everybody wants to protect themselves, everybody wants to make sure that their name is hidden. But so guess what? That's going to fall on Maria. Maria's going to have to eat that too. So, in order for us to make sure that we don't look bad, we've got to sit here and make Maria suffer. And apparently, I'm not the only one that has to suffer for these issues. Like, I really do appreciate my son, taking care of me and doing, helping me out with bills and stuff like that. I'm not comfortable with that really, but, I'm grateful that he is. But it's like, once again, it's always going to sit here and be dumped on, the responsibility, the burden is always going to be dumped on anybody but the people who perpetrated this. You know what I mean? So I'm just standing up and saying the truth, okay? And I know sometimes a lot of people look at me and say, well, man, Maria, you say things, you know who you're kind of the people that you're dealing with. And I'd be quiet if I were you. It would be quiet. You know what? All this shit has done is made me suffer for shit I had no reason to suffer for. You know what I mean? And then you want I deal with people who want to exploit that situation, who want to be my quote unquote friend so that they can further exploit me. You know what I mean? So I don't really have any reason to feel like I'm supposed to have this, like, happy, upbeat feeling. You know what I mean? Because what's left for me now is basically all I really want to do is focus on content. Okay, but when it comes to me, I have no life. They completely wipe that out. So it's like, you always hope, hope I find a really cool friend. I'm always going to always have to sit here and always be guarded. I can never feel like I can trust anyone again because I don't need double agents. I don't need people sitting here. The only reason why I was at Maria's house is because I could see what kind of tea she drinks. And I could tell them about it. I'm not fucking going to be used like that. And I get tired of that. You know what I mean? I deserve more. You know what I mean? And it's just about me feeling this whole program to me. Like I said, it's just something that affects me. You know what I mean? And it does cause a lot of depression, and it does wipe out every single thing in your mind that could possibly be positive towards in your life that sits here on this earth. Okay. Like, I'm getting to the point where it's like the only thing I do think about is spiritual things. The only thing I want to do is sit here and trip out and be weird all the time. Because there is literally nothing for me to sit here and give too much of a shit about. And it all because of some sort of weird plan that somebody had. And see, what I get this feeling was, it's just like, okay, when I was getting targeted by people, there was a certain person, right, who I maybe his wife or something. I get this feeling. I'm not going to say any names. Probably had some sort of respect or admiration for me. The very fact that I wasn't in the typical woman's role, okay, he felt as though women had to be put in their place, and I ended up having to suffer for it. Okay, and apparently this was a shockwave that went throughout the entire community. We're talking about the issue of the just basically subjugating women to the point of where they literally have no choice but to commit suicide. You know what I mean? It was just an absolute nightmare. And like I said, because I'm aware of laws, I realized that this was wrong. And and I by me stating that, I acknowledge like these problems that go on in the world. Okay, specifically like the workplace and stuff like that. I'm speaking up because I was affected by it personally. Okay, and I know how devastating it is when you are only trying to make a living and somebody thinks your existence, they want to make a mockery out of your existence. Okay, and I don't, of course, you wonder after somebody does something like that, you wonder who the fuck you can trust. You know what I mean? So it should be completely understandable why I'm going to have my guards up, and rightfully so. I respect myself, and I love myself. And this is not in any way arrogant. This is the healthy sort of view a person should have of themselves. If you want to make sure that you grow and you elevate, or you're able to withstand something that is as painful as losing people that you thought were like these method actors that were you're supposed to be your fucking family. Okay, and then they want to sit here and like pour salt on your wounds by trying to exploit you financially. I'm talking about the group in general. Okay, and then thinking that that's not cool. I'm a woman who needs to take care of herself. I don't have time for people to think that what I'm saying is a joke. I am basically trying to fight for my right to live after being attacked. This is what this issue really is about when you really look at it. Okay, and that's what it is. Anytime you get attacked for your personal life, your things that you have the right to do, and they sit here and they think they play with your money and they think it's okay, or they sit there and they want to fuck with your lifestyle because they don't like it, or they might feel intimidated with it. I do not expect to have to deal with that sort of terrorism in the United States of America. This is what targeted individuals are talking about. They're talking about weird shit that's going on in their lives, and they're being excused. They're being like basically um, exterminated little by little because of these sort of operations that should not be happening here in this country. And it's shocking to a lot of people, especially when they find out that they're a victim of this. Anyway, so yeah, I do speak my mind with confidence. And the reason why I'm confident about it is because, like I said, I've been making videos since 2015 on this particular channel relating to this subject, right? And I made over 1,300 videos. Okay, sounding like a broken record, but the reason why I keep saying this is because it's like, I don't know how else to prove it other than that these people were setting me up for some sort of financial exploitation. I do believe people wanted to take credit for my work. I do believe they wanted to devalue me. They were purposely putting me in a human trafficking situation, knowing good and well the kind of human trafficking that they were setting me up for was a form of slavery. Meaning that they did not want me to have any credit for my work. I was never supposed to be acknowledged in any way. This is the kind of stuff that goes on, that people don't really want to talk about. But this is what happened in my life. Okay, and then these people will have no problem sitting here stripping you of your assets and then sending people in to sit here and grin in your face and pretend that they're your friend. I can't tell you how disgusting that is. Okay, so no, I'm not the kind of person that wants to sit here and like grin up in people's faces. I don't want fucking fake friends. I don't need that shit. Okay, but what I look for is sincerity in people, and if you can't be sincere, hey, you need to really seriously evaluate that, because I don't need any more like trauma. Okay, I don't need any trauma. I literally have to fight for every goddamn thing I have. Okay, and unfortunately, like I said, the law is on my side on paper, because there's a lot of fucking really corrupt people, and this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So anyway, what else do I want to talk about? Yeah, I do have brilliant ideas, and I'm very aspiring, and I do enjoy, writing content, and I understand that, like, I've always been that way, and I would like to work and focus my goals on things to where I do feel like a sense of satisfaction. They prevent you from having any sort of sense of satisfaction in the workplace. When I was over at the farmer's place, I mean, I was really killing it. Like, I was coming up with all the kind of stuff, actively participating in the meetings, following up, getting very excited, loving my job, okay? And then, they thought it was funny when they would take credit for my work. And I was like, they don't care. They fucking don't care. You know what I mean? Like, the way I was treated at that fucking company, it was just almost like, nothing, basically. And I was just like completely devastated. You know what I mean? I was devastated then, but then that wasn't enough for them. It was not enough for them. They had to follow me. They had to sit here and spread a bunch of shit around. And the reason why I'm making this venting video is because, like, certain topics does set me off. And this is one of the reasons why, I understand, like, solitude is pretty much my best friend. And when I fucking feel like communicating, then I'll communicate. Because I have to sit here and put, like, my guards up when it comes to people. People think that I'm just somebody who's going to easily communicate with them. Don't expect that, especially after, dealing with everything else. I don't want, if you're going to sit here and come into my life and, like, discredit or try to discredit things that I'm going to say, or try to come up with some sort of gaslighting plan, keep your shit to yourself and don't even bother talking to me. That's just basically the way it is. But if you sit here and understand, hey, I'm not going to sit here and try to lie. Of course, I'm not going to ever sit here and bring up my situation in a conversation, okay? But, like, let's just say, for example, I expect the people who do reach out to me to pretty much know a little bit about me. Otherwise, why would you be reaching out to me, okay? I don't need people lying to me or anything like that. I don't need that, because I know what happened. Okay, and it's very dangerous. It is a very dangerous situation to be in around somebody who is going to gaslight you or try to bring up some sort of other narrative that happened, or try to convince you of something that happened, because you can never trust them. Because right there, you already know that this relationship is meant to be a setup. Okay, you have to be very careful and strategic about who you interact with when you dealt with this sort of targeting. And it doesn't matter who it is, and it's just the way it is. You know what I mean? I'm very serious about recognizing what this original plan was for. Okay, even before I understood, like, oh, I was cloned or whatever, before I even knew, when I was just thinking that it was on a family level, I knew that this was going to affect my life forever, forever, because the damage is already done. Like, what I mean by that is, like, I'm never going to trust people again. Okay, I'm never going to be able to feel comfortable in a crowd again. I can't work anymore. You know what I mean? It's like these people damage you beyond, and then they never get tired. Like they were happy with what they did with over there at the Patreon thing. They were happy. They were excited. They thought it was great. After me struggling all this time, expressing my frustration, and still they were happy about it. They do things to me, and then you know what? I do not like people ever referring to me as generous. And it's not because I'm not somebody who wants to give people things. I do give. When I give from my heart, okay? But what these people do is they exploit you. And they think it's okay. It's not okay. You know what I mean? It's not okay. I don't really care who you are, what title you have. It's not fucking okay. And I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's okay. I'm going to deal with that. No, there's nowhere in the fucking, when it comes to me reading and understanding the laws of this country and like what do you call it, the amendments and all that stuff, I don't ever recall, being told that I should expect that. Now, I understand, people do shit behind the scenes, but it's like when you do this sort of shit, then, I'm just saying is I don't want to talk about corruption anymore, okay? But anyway, and yeah, like I said, I do understand there's certain people who do want to reach out to me, and there's certain people who plan on talking to me in the future, and I do get that feeling, and that's fine. But like I said, you know what I mean? I'm not here to fucking, have to hear some sort of like, bullshit or to try to discredit me or something to debate me. I'm not interested in that. I've already dealt with that my entire life, and I didn't even ask for it. Didn't ask for any of it. You know what I mean? So anyway, so yeah, I do. I want to work with a sense of satisfaction. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? I want to be, acknowledged for my work. That's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? And the thing is that, because of my racial background, people do feel threatened by that sometimes, because that's one of the reasons why they don't want to give me any credit. Because the whole hush hush thing was supposed to be, oh, the Egyptians were black, and white people were comparing themselves to me, and they were doing all this sort of like bullshit to me, putting me in situations, and I'm not even sitting here jumping up and down just because I can call myself the winner. I'm just like disturbed that something like this could even happen. You know what I mean? Or that people in these sort of positions could actually do something like this and walk out and still be respected. You know what I mean? This is the sort of shit that blows my mind. So no, I don't really have too much interest in the outside world, and there really isn't any reason for me to. What else do I want to say? Everyone knows. Oh yeah, everyone knows that I've been a person who basically have been running from this bullshit all my life. Whether I recognized it for what it was at the time or not, I just knew that I was always dealing with irate people, people who had some sort of agenda, bullying tactics or what. I was running to that all the time, all my life, feeling like man, what the hell? I knew that people had issues with me being an intelligent person. I'm sorry, my intelligence is my gift and it's my right. It is my gift and it's my right. You know what I mean? And when it's just like the old days in the South, like when people used to lynch people, this is the kind of behavior that I remember sending Steve Murray a picture of a person who was lynched because I knew he was like up to shit. He was just up to his bullshit. And I remember sending him a picture of a guy who was lynched back in the 1940s because I felt as though this was really the underlying issue. You know what I mean? I'm like, let's just get real here, okay? I later found out that it was something along those lines, but still, anytime you're dealing with targeting and stuff like that, and you're dealing with something racial, I mean, I recognized it for what it was. Enough when the hair issue came up. Okay, this should have never escalated to that sort of point. What else did I want to talk about? I think that's pretty much it. You know what I mean? I'm just basically kind of like, going through things in my mind. I think it's really important for me to like just kind of get my thoughts together. I try to do things, I try to, work on videos and content and stuff like that. But see, these people, they purposely keep you in a situation of demoralization. And why they do that, they want to sit here and like talk to you and make email and send you emails and smile on your face like there's nothing wrong going on. And it's like, I don't need any more abuse. I don't need any more of it because that's exactly what it is. And see, people normalize this sort of behavior so much that it just becomes like nothing to them. But that's what it is to me. Okay, and I'm going to tell you, everybody right now, any sort of action like that is I'm going to look at it as a form of abuse, seeing as how it violates my rights. The sad part about when you're dealing with gang stalking is they don't really care about your your problems, okay? Like, and you miss out on opportunities because they feel as though maybe it's because their title, they're misusing their power, they're overstepping boundaries, even though they do have a title, but still what they're doing is incorrect and it's wrong. And then there's laws in this country that was supposed to prevent us from dealing with that sort of tyranny that was going on over in England back in the day. Okay, that's why we have the United States. But anyway, they do things that prevent you, and they think that, well, we're going to do this, we're going to block it from this, we're going to this is an outrage. This is like a scandal, okay, big time, okay. But they do this sort of stuff, right? Thinking because I have this title and I'm going to do this, and she better recognize this, and I blah blah blah. This is total kind of arrogance, okay, that leadership should not be displaying. Okay, if you want the respect of the people, then you have to sit here and know how to appeal to the goddamn people. You know what I mean? I ended up having to, lose most of my life because they didn't feel as though I wasn't up to their standards when I never would ever wanted to be in their group in the fucking first place. You know what I mean? Trying to shape and mold me, terrorize me, threatened my life several times. Meaning, like, anytime you set me up for a job interview and you waste my time, you basically are putting a gun in my head. All of these sort of things that went on with my life that I've suffered from. Okay, and like I said, you still got these assholes that want to try you. They still want to say, okay, she's really doing the best she can to sit here and try to make her life over. But I think it's funny that I'm going to sit here and take advantage of her anyway. What the fuck is wrong with you? You know what I mean? So no, I think people, when they look at like people that are associated with me, they think, oh, people might get jealous. But let me tell you something: people can be. It doesn't matter what a person's title is or whatever, or what kind of status they have. They can be, sneaky, slimy, and they can betray you just like anyone else can. Okay, I'm tired of having knives in my back, like really tired of it. Okay, and that's why I have to stand up for myself. You know what I mean? And this is one of the reasons why I've been making videos for the last 8 years, and I am just like exhausted with all of that. So anyway, what else? Is there something else I wanted to say before I wrap all of this up? I come back from time to time, other thoughts flow through my mind, and I want new things. I want new experiences, but like I said, it's hard because me being in the situation that I'm in. You know what I mean? I can never feel like I can trust somebody. I can never feel that way, and I can, I'm just somebody who's just trying to live out the best years of their life. You know what I mean? And that's been a struggle. It's been a struggle to do that. You know what I mean? It's like everything. They feel like everything is up for debate. You know, and it's just sad. It's fucking sad what happened to me, and I deserve to be, to sue these people and get my compensation. But and then they sit there and they know this shit, but then they got, like I said, they want to sit here and like twist the knife one more fucking time, and they get angry when I sit here and complain about what goes on with my, my business prospects. See, I get, and that's the fucking fact. That's the way I see it. And please, nobody can tell me I should see it any other way. You know what I mean? People like me, the only thing that they have is the law. If it wasn't for the law, knowing that they have that sort of like protection, that's the one thing that they hang on to. Okay, but when you're dealing with people who are easily corrupt or easily persuaded, they like the group dynamic, they want to do this, they want to do that, you are so open to all kinds of abuse. You know what I mean? All kinds of abuse. And no, I'm not forgiving on this issue. Okay, I'm tired of people seeing me as a generous person, and they want to convince themselves that I'm generous, so they don't have to feel like they're exploiting me. There's a lot of sick mindsets that go on in this dynamic. Okay, and I am fucking tired of it. I don't care who it comes from. You know what I mean? I am a person who respects themselves, and I am not anybody's goddamn slave. Period. And that's exactly what this system is when you put this sort of thing in action. I have the right to stand up for myself. You know what I mean? And I think I'm going to wrap this video up. I am very tired, For the people who do support me, I do want to tell you that I appreciate your support 100%. And I can't tell you how much that means to me. I definitely hold you in high esteem for people who truly understand and can relate to my issues and have never done anything to try to trip me up or devalue me, undermine me or something. But, a lot of people have. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, like I said, I'm at a part in my life where it's just like, I'm just fucking tired of it. You know what I mean? I'm a person who works hard, does what the best thing I can. I never got a chance to have the opportunities that a lot of people have, and I've tried to make the best of my life. You know what I mean? I've tried never to be a burden on anybody. I've always tried to stand up for myself, and I don't deserve to be treated like this. Period. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. I will be back with another video sometime later. Take care of you guys. For those people who support me, take care of yourself. Enjoy the rest of this day, and we will work on trying to get you guys motivated to finish the next week. Take care. Bye-bye.